CPNG, what's good? What's good? We about to get this interview started with Mr. Quron Banks. Just give you guys some time to come on. Hey, what's going on? We about to get this interview popping. So in short, I'm about to interview Mr. Quron Banks. He's up in Upper Darby. He's just going to talk about a certain type of business that he has going on. So he about to get these things popping. He just opened the door for me. We coming live right here at 6045 Baltimore Avenue. And we're going to get these things popping. Let me show you the menu. Hey, what's up, my kid? Here we go. So right now, sir, what's your name, sir?
My name is Quron Banks. How you doing today?
Pretty well. So this is Quron Banks, and we're going to be interviewing him. And we're going to get straight into the interview. We've been busting up, having a good time at this Caribbean spot. What's up, Casey? This Caribbean spot over here. So if you have any questions while I'm interviewing him, feel free to just ask him. He's real down to earth. He's professional. And I look up to him because he's a great person in the community. In short, we're also starting an initiative to Upper Darby where we're going to be getting some good businesses over there. So anybody that has a brick or mortar or anything that you have, you already know Philadelphia has mad red tape. Well, I wouldn't say mad red tape, but you already know how Philadelphia is. But Upper Darby doesn't have that much, and we'll be talking about that. So, Mr. Banks, where did you grow up at, and how did you make your way over to Upper Darby?
I'm from North Philadelphia. My father was into real estate and into business in Philadelphia, and my mom was a community activist also from Philadelphia. I learned so much from both of my parents, and as I got successful in business, I made my way up to Delaware County because I felt like I could make a nice, good business home right here for myself. So that's where I came from. That's where I came.
Well, that's cool. Well, long story short, guys, I seen Quron Banks everywhere. He was up in the CPNG. You see him online, busy, active in the community. And I just thought to myself, I see him do a lot, but what exactly does he do? So I finally got to meet him at this black-owned restaurant right there in Walnut called Alt. It has an H in it, but it's actually called Alt. But in short, when I met him, I already knew that he had an aura for getting things done, which alludes to our next question. Do you think that you can go by first impressions to get with a person with business, or do you think you have to go through formalities or anything like that?
I think first impressions is important because you can learn everything you possibly can from your first impression. Your personality dictates who you are, and it brings an aura of certain kind of people around you, and it's good and positive to have people gravitate to you because of the kind of things that you do, so you want to be well-rounded. So yes, first impressions is very important.
Excellent. Now, it's no secret that you're a man of many hats and everything like that. You have your hand in politics, you have your hand in entrepreneurship, public relations, and so forth. But when it comes to being like talented and multi-talented, do you think that you can be too multi-talented, that you don't master anything?
No, I think being multi-talented is the perfect way to go because you don't want to limit yourself to just one particular thing because just in case that one particular thing bellies up, you have other business creations that you can come that can bring back residual income for you. So you want to spread yourself out the best way that you can.
Okay. And in short, what is your actual political seat? Like, what political arena are you in?
I'm in community public relations. This May, I ran for the 6th District Council of Upper Darby. I have studied various political positions that I can easily apply for at any given time. I could be a state representative if I wanted to. I could be for mayor, city council for sure. But right now, I'm in the community sector where I want to just redevelop communities.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the political arena and the political sector. What are some factors or some common misnomers that people have about politicians?
A lot of people think that politicians don't really care about the community, but they actually do. Most of the politicians I've worked with, they all care about job creation, they care about community programs and so forth. And the misconception that they have is that people believe that politicians only come out when it's election time, and unfortunately, that's just not true.
Okay. Now, I recently found out from one of the events that you had over right there on 69th Street. Was it Studio Movie Grill or movie?
Yeah, Studio Movie Grill.
Okay. So I found out when I met one of the politicians over there that Upper Darby is the sixth largest city in Pennsylvania. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So what are some stats that people sleep on about Upper Darby?
Upper Darby is an untapped jewel when it comes down to dealing with business. They have so many different minorities there, and everybody is thriving, trying to increase the business population and the community as well. So it's like they all are celebrated. The African American community, the Bangladesh community, the Sikh community. So it's like people need to come out there because there's so many different things that is great to see and a great way to start a business and even start a family if possible. So that's the move to make the Upper Darby.
Okay. Now, stretching the imagination, of course, it's important to be diverse when it comes to doing business. African Americans are on the surge, and black people in general are doing entrepreneurship. But stretching the imagination, what's something that African Americans can do to impact the culture that is improbable but not impossible?
I think African Americans as a whole, we need to support one another. We need to sometimes swallow our pride and follow an idea that sometimes will be beneficial to us. We need to learn how to organize and come together for the betterment of the community. A lot of the other minorities, they do that easily, but it seems to be very difficult for us to work with each other. So what we need to do is we need to break that bond and come together on a political stage, a professional stage, and a community stage, and just work together as a unit, and we can just do some great things together.
Now that they have it in writing.
Okay. Now, it's no secret, us as African Americans, you hear the phrase that we have to go 10 times as harder just to do X, Y, Z, this, that, and the third. And sometimes people from other countries come over here and they actually get grants for doing X, Y.
But some of my political colleagues feel as though that when these minorities come on from other countries, that they are not given a fair share at the what they call the American experience. And the part that makes it unfair is you actually have Americans here who are trying to start businesses, trying to do so forth. And those programs and activities are not available to them, but a lot easier to a lot of other minorities who are coming from another country. You know, and that's just completely unfair.
Over the next 10 years,
those resources should be available to anyone who wants to see them.
child pornography
So,
offenses. Let them
that's what you have
receive
to do.
jail time. Although the boys
Okay, let's see. Now, what's funny, on your Facebook page, because you and I are friends, I seen that you had a post on there and you talked about the significance of having like good circles, good connections, and one of those connections was actually judges. You said one of the benefits of knowing judges is actually knowing your rights. What are some rights that people don't know about that they're entitled to, and who could they go to like to find out about stuff like that?
Well, sometimes they have a misconception when they think that only lawyers have all the information. But the thing is, I've learned so much stuff from the judicial system just based off of the connections I have with actual judges. You know, sitting around them in the courtrooms while they're talking shop about stuff like that. I learned I have also everybody knows you have the right to remain silent. I know all my rights, what I can apply for, and also what law enforcement can do and not do to me, regardless of what the situation might be. So the benefits of having friends like that is that if you're going to make friends with someone who is very influential, the best thing that you can do is to at least learn something that they have, some skill or something talent that you can take with you long after the friendship may have dissolved. So for me, it was judges. And I learned a lot of political stuff.
What's that with getting pulled over and everything like that? Of course, everybody at home, I do know something. I know that you have to have a license, you have to have insurance, registration is good and stuff like that. But what's that with getting pulled over?
Well, right now we living in times where driving while black is an issue, sitting by black is an issue, and talking on the phone by black is an issue. The thing is, I would not be argumentative with police authority. I would just follow the commands if possible. I appear to be as least threatening to them as I can. And just follow the commands the best way you can, the best of your ability, so it doesn't lead to a catastrophe like the ones that we've seen in the past. So,
what's up with the trunk thing?
Well, my opinion about Donald Trump is...
Oh, not Donald Trump. Can they search the trunk?
Oh, trunk. How do they search your trunk? No, I mean, they don't have the right to search your vehicle. Like, you have to give them permission to do that. They can't just open up your trunk. That's called an illegal search. They can't open your door. They can't do any of those things unless you're allowed allows them to do it. But you have to do within your rights, which is to follow the commands. And one of the most important things is that they ask you for your identification, regardless if you did nothing or not. It saves a lot of trouble if you just give it to them slowly.
Okay. And on a lighter note, what are some things that you do like for your pastime or like hobbies or anything like that?
I like to help a lot of community organizations like the Choices organization in Chester, where I like to walk for cancer with them as much as I can. The Taylor Made Vets organization in Upper Darby, where they try to clean the neighborhoods and provide services for military veterans in the area. The Dope organization also in Philadelphia doing their part.
Shout out Jack Craig.
Right, because I love the fact that they go out there and feed the homeless every Saturday, taking their time out to do something positive for the community. And I just like supporting organizations that's just building and uplifting people.
Okay. Now, it seems like Philadelphia in this area is having like a real estate boom and everything like that. Have you benefited from like wholesale real estate or anything like that?
I wouldn't say that I benefited from it because a lot of people who owns property in Philadelphia, they trying to hold that out for like big corporations like Temple University or all these companies that's trying to take up parts of the neighborhood and turn the neighborhood into a business instead of a neighborhood anymore. So no, I'm into residual income. So most of the businesses or stuff that I deal with as far as real estate and so forth, it's all to leave something behind for my child, so she doesn't have to work as hard as I have to do with my time.
Excellent. So what's funny, and I know that you said it, is passion. People have a lot of passion for like starting up their business. Sometimes there are even people who are strong enough to like do past like the nose and everything like that. But oftentimes we forget to have an exit strategy for our business. Like sometimes the business you could be into is like, this is cool, but it's not for me no more, or my kids don't need it like I thought. What's your advice for like people like doing an exit strategy like to get out of their business?
Right. The biggest thing with the extra strategy is a lot of people who start businesses, they care about the business when they first make it, and then as soon as it becomes successful, that spark just disappears, and then it's like they're not interested anymore, or maybe they want to move into a different kind of field. And when that happens, the first thing they want to do is sell their business. Personally, I don't agree with selling it full force of my business. I'd rather sell it in parts where I could still have some kind of managerial, decision making and kind of a business, so I could still get parts in it, even if I sell the actual company or something. But you want to do everything with residual income. A one-time payout is not going to last you for the rest of your life. So, like I said, residual income on your own businesses will last you a lifetime.
Okay. Now, this is a real simple question, but a lot of us Philadelphians don't know. Where is the actual borderline for Upper Darby when it comes to Philly? Is it 69th Street or what is it? 69th and Market or?
Officially, I would say 63rd and Market.
Oh, for real?
Because once you pass 63rd and Market near Cobb's Creek, you actually go into Milborn. When you get to 69th Street, you are actually in Upper Darby.
Okay.
So, and that's just from one particular side. The other side will be Baltimore Avenue and Church Lane. Like Philadelphia stops right where we are now with this Caribbean restaurant right here at this corner. And then as soon as you go up the hill, you are in Baltimore Pike and Church Lane, and you're in Upper Darby. You're in Delaware County.
Okay. So you have a lot of connections over in Upper Darby, so of course you get dibs on like what type of business that you guys want out there. What is like an idea scenario for Upper Darby 2 years from now, and what would it look like?
What would it look like is for a guy like me to be able to introduce the Cool People's Network and networks like that who have different entrepreneurs who are trying to develop certain areas. In 2 years, I would like to bring people from the Cool People's Network up to this area. Hopefully, they will invest in Upper Darby. They will bring their businesses to the area so their area can go up. So I believe in diverse businesses, but the only way to make that happen is we have to have relationships with people like yourself, people who are in these networks, and make them feel comfortable to want to bring their businesses to our area, and that's the service I try to provide for my friends and colleagues.
Well, that's cool. Well, you know what's always on the mind of entrepreneurships? Wash my hands, I wash yours, but what would be on the mind of entrepreneurs? Like, how can I benefit from opening up a business in Upper Darby than I would in the city of Philadelphia?
Well, the thing about it is a business thrives depending on the area that it's in. Upper Darby and Philadelphia are completely different. You know, where in Philadelphia you have to look at location, and every location might not be the proper location for your business.
That's right.
When you open up a business in Upper Darby, like 69th Street, the Lansdowne area, whatever, and Long Lane area, like in the district where I'm at, they have small business districts that's just perfect for people to open up businesses that's trying to build stuff in the community. So that's one of the main goals, Lewis, is that you know, you want to keep those small businesses around. We want to keep it diverse as much as we possibly can.
Okay. And with this mini surge, like in African Americans finally getting together, networking, looking out for each other in business, what are some changes? What's some momentum that's already out there that we, now this is a hard one, so I'll give you time to think of it. But what's some momentum that's already out there that we could already attach ourselves to and make that build up? Like what's going on already that we could just attach ourselves to?
Well, right now there's a lot of big increases of mom and pop businesses that's going on in the area in like the Darby, Delaware County, and Philadelphia as well. What we can attach ourselves to now is to not just open up these businesses like hair salons, daycare centers, and so forth. We need to be able to teach those businesses to our children. We need to teach them to a younger generation so they can learn how to make those businesses grow. You know, it's like why would I want to just open up one business when I can sit here and help and redevelop a whole block, or a whole neighborhood, a whole community? That should be the bigger goal. So the thing is, if you go and dream, don't just dream small. Make sure you always dream big.
Actually, yeah. Okay. Now, as far as like mentoring and things like that, of course you're busy doing XYZ, and we just had a discussion how important it is to have like youth around us. How do you get the youth involved with business in general?
Well, as far as youth dealing with business, a lot of minorities, when they create businesses, what they seem to do is they bring their children in, and their children's around seeing these businesses. They have friends who go to schools with them, and so and some of those things get passed off. Like everybody wants to go for a better life. But for the African American community, we don't want our kids to think that you can only be successful if you bounce a basketball or if you throw on the football, you know, playing an athletic sport. You know, the most powerful tool that we have that is our minds. And we have to support our young people in any kind of development that they want to do and not alienate them for having a thought. You know, we got a whole generation of kids that think they need to play sports. You know, academics is very important. When your physical part fails, you need to make sure your mind is on point with everything you need to do for future situations. So that's what we need them to do. You know?
Okay. Well, I remember my first time when it was time to vote. I was 18 and I had to catch the train back from college just so I could vote, and it's kind of a happy moment. I felt like I did my part. But I'm just being real. Some people, they call themselves woke, and they like, I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't matter. It's an electoral college that picks the president, this, that, and the third, and the other. What would you say to people regarding their voting and how does it count? I'm saying this because a lot of people, they actually vote and they get into the voters booth and they don't know the people. You and I, we got a lot of common connections. Shout out to my man Isaiah Thomas, Salima Lovelace, Omar Sabir, Pat Edward. His name kind of tricky. But so when it comes to voting, how it's a two-parter. How can people that are running for office orchestrate their plans? Because I'm just being real. Sometimes it seems like they're leaving their plans out. They just saying vote for me. But I was like, what's your plan? How can I identify with it? And on the flip side, how can we get that misnomer out that voting is whack?
Well, the thing about that is, like I said, I ran for office in May of this previous election for 6th District Council. And the thing is that these candidates have to get out there in the communities. You have to go to these churches. You have to interact with these business owners. You have to interact with the youth and the kids to get them to show them that if you're trying to make a difference, your intentions is good and pure, and this is why they need to vote for you, because you're someone that's like them. You know, like I got the strict policy where I don't vote for people whose views I don't agree with. You know, I'm not gonna vote straight party. I'm not gonna vote against.
I split ticket myself.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to vote for whoever I think is best for me, and that's what everybody should be doing when it comes down to elections. And here's the thing: your vote does matter. Our forefathers died for the right for me to vote today, the right for you to vote, and the right for our young people to vote. I'm gonna continue on that tradition. That when election time comes, regardless if my vote is private or public, I'm going to exercise my right to vote for the president, for city council, for the mayor, for whoever is running that, who fits my views. And everybody should take a part in that.
Okay. Well, in closing, is it while you got the eyes of a couple people, shout out to the people who are watching. You got about 7 viewers.
All right.
We're going to boost it up to 100. Are there any businesses that you had that you would like to promote, or any shout outs that you want to give?
Well, I'm a community person at heart before I do any business and before I even do any political things. So, I want to give a shout out to all the organizations that
Let me shout out this business out.
All right.
It's not too far from this area. Caribbean cuisine. It's black owned.
Yeah, so it's like I said, previous to this interview, I jotted down a couple organizations that do a lot of good in the community. I'm a people person. My name is Quron Banks. You can look at me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any kind of social medias that you have, and everything about me is public. So it's like I said, I'm a community person. So I support the churches, I support all these organizations, nonprofits, and like you said, if I'm somebody who can help you, look me up, reach out to me, and I'll be there to help you.
Okay. Well, very good. It's November the 20th. This is my man, Quron Banks. He's down to earth. He hit you up with some good information. You guys, and some of you guys are watching. I told you, Upper Darby is going to be the place to be. I've been looking at some of the stats and everything like that. But you know how I am. Wait, let me talk to them. So you know how I am. Definitely do your research. But Upper Darby is going to be an excellent place. Quron Banks, he's well connected. So any type of questions that you may have, like regarding the political arena or something like that, you could either talk to me or talk to him. Like you said, on one of the outlets. But that's an excellent interview. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. That was Mr. Quron Banks. Oh, shout out to Tamika. I don't know where you at. But she's going to have a sipping paint, and we're actually going to have it over in Upper Darby, and we're going to have a community event. I don't know if she's going to have a grand opener or as soon as things get popping, but we're going to have a group event, and that's what we're going to be aiming at in 2020. Just having group events in black businesses that are just opening so they can get some strong boost. So everybody be blessed. Have a good night. CPNG, Quron Banks out.